At the end of this course, students will know and be able to apply the following: demonstrate knowledge of the Maritime Transportation Security Act MTSA, and the required knowledge as listed in 33. CFR 105.210 perform their duties within federal regulation on the morning of September 11, 2001. Two American passenger aircraft were intentionally flown into the World Trade Center Twin Towers. The impact of this act was such a shock to the American people that most of us can still remember exactly what we were doing when the news broke. A third aircraft was flown into the Pentagon, and the fourth aircraft crashed before hitting its target, thanks to brave men and women on board. Refusing to let the terrorists accomplish their mission, the attacks resulted in the deaths of 2,996 people and the injuries of 6,000 others. The 2,996 death toll included 265 on the 4 planes from which there were no survivors, 2,606 in the World Trade Center and in the surrounding area, and 125 at the Pentagon. This sparked the realization that the U.S. needed to take terrorism seriously and needed to react accordingly, immediately. Our government brought forward legislation to give law enforcement agencies the power to combat illegal immigrants, penetrate Islamic fundamentalist cells, and increase our intelligence gathering authority and expertise. The Patriot Act was signed into law by President George W. Bush on October 26, 2001, because airplanes were used in attacking civilians. The airline transportation industry was immediately reviewed, and the lack of security was astonishing. Then we turned our eyes to the Maritime Transportation System (MTS). We noticed our ports and waterways had become highly vulnerable since WWII. There were virtually no security at shipping terminals or our harbors and river systems. Foreign crews and personnel were able to walk off a ship right into our towns and cities, from there, anywhere in the United States, all unchecked. On November 25, 2002, President George W. Bush signed into law the Maritime Transportation Security Act (MTSA). MTSA contains several provisions intended to enhance America's maritime community against the threat of terrorism. MTSA aligns with the International Ship and Port Facility Security Code (ISPS). MTSA has a broader application than the ISPS and includes domestic vessels and facilities. The U.S. Coast Guard issued regulations in 33 CFR, Code of Federal Regulations, that include requirements for port security committees and port security plans, vessel security assessments and security plans, vessel and company security officers, facility security assessments and plans, and facility security officers. After MTSA became law, the responsibility was placed upon the U.S. Coast Guard to implement and enforce the law. 33 CFR was written, reviewed, and then finalized. 33 CFR Subchapter H Maritime Security delves into the detail of the public's responsibilities and requirements that were implemented on July 1, 2004.